freestyle today, Black Push Talk. We had a very interesting day today, man. A lot of light was passed upon us, man. We got a chance to go down to the city of Atlanta Police Department and kind of talk briefly about how the community need to come together with the police department to make changes in our neighborhood. Sean, let's start right there. What did you take out of this meeting this morning we went to?
Um, it was interesting. I mean, I would say this that I like those kind of meetings where people are blunt and honest, and I felt like the chief was he was open. He was open. He made the comment from the very beginning. He said we can be as blunt. You can ask whatever you whatever you want to ask. And a lot of politicians don't do that. Like they give you scripts before you even come in.
Correct.
They want to know what you want to talk about. They want to know what's going to be discussed. But I thought that was very good dialogue, and there was a lot of people there, were like over 50 pastors there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Reverend Shannon and the Black clergy group that he's the president of, they actually put it on. So it was very interesting.
You know what? You know what kind of got my attention the most is when he said that AJC stats reporting is very wrong. Like that's what they sell. That's how they divide us.
Right.
They don't tell you the actual number for what it's worth. And if we don't go to take the time out to see it ourselves from their people, we won't know the true facts.
No, I think that, and we talked about this the other day, that people rather believe a lie.
Correct.
And they rather graft towards a lie. One of the things that really caught me today in the discussion with him, at least, is when he talked about the youth, right? And I think we can zoom in on that because we have to start catching our young men and our young women at earlier ages. Like we can't wait till they're 17, 18 where they're in the system already.
Yep.
We got to catch them at the age of 13, at the age of 12. And that's why I think that even what you do, because you have you have a football league that you're a part of, right? Correct. How many kids do you guys have in that football league?
Well, we just started with the whole park consists of maybe 220 kids.
220 kids.
And you got maybe 15 teams in one program, or one league, but you have like over 60, 70 leagues in the city.
Right.
So it's a lot of kids.
Right.
That we using football just to save them, pretty much.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And that's the thing that's interesting about kids, man. If we could find ways to redirect them early, I think that help them understand that you ain't got to be the next. You ain't got to be the next big thing. You ain't got to be the next thug, man. You ain't got to join nobody's gang. If you can just stay focused on what you're doing now, like find something that you love and stay focused on that. I think it helps out a lot. I mention it all the time. When I was younger, we started a nonprofit program where we were just teaching majority African American kids how to play the violin. And we grew from just teaching them how to play the violin to during the summertime, we would actually do summer camps where we taught them reading, math, and how to play the violin. And their grades and stuff had to be lined up. And you would be surprised the amount of kids that were failing, but all of a sudden, just so that they can learn how to play the violin, turned their whole grades around, went back to reading books and studying and stuff like that. We have to, I think, and I don't know how many kids you do, you know what I'm saying? But I think as a community, we have to find things that our children are like. And besides TikTok and the cell phone, right? Things where they engage with other people. And the police department has a role to play too, because they have to start meeting people where they're at.
But you know what though? He said it today. He said, what we don't understand is they get phone calls for all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I heard that too, yeah.
Like they get phone calls. I'm gonna repeat exactly what he said. They get phone calls when the child ain't going to bed.
Yeah.
They get phone calls when the grades ain't good in school. They get phone calls for
stuff that ain't got nothing to do with them.
So they got to send a police officer to that particular house for that reason. So they're outnumbered. So while you calling them for that, it's a robbery going on down the street that they can't get to in a timely manner.
Right.
So as a community, I think the biggest thing we do wrong as a community, we like labeling kids as the word bad. And we guilty of that. Saying he bad, he bad, he bad, he bad. When a boy gonna be a boy. So we start putting in their head. Now they get it, we start speaking to existence. So we guilty. Man, sit your little bad black down. So we gotta be careful how we put that in they soul, because they feel like they're gonna be accepted with that word.
Yeah. But I would say this, that and whether it's a boy or girl, again, we have to find ways to get our children's attention early.
Correct.
What disappointed me the most was, I think we went to a meeting, and one person in particular said that they had tried, it was you. said they had tried to get the kids to be able to go through like a scared straight kind of
I'll
program.
tell you about that real quick.
Yeah, and don't mention the county, but I mean,
Why I can't? No.
Because we represent Blackbush. I don't like calling out counties.
Okay, well, a certain county nearby us.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get the kids to be in a program called Scared Straight at the age of 11, 12, 13. And I was told they weren't qualified to come to the Scared Straight program unless they already had something on their record.
And that's so dumb. That is so dumb. I mean, so we're trying to prevent kids from being able to go into the system, but at the same time, the system is telling us that we don't want to do anything to help from that perspective. But again, going back to the conversation we had earlier today, I felt like it was great dialogue. I felt like the chief was very open. I'm kind of disappointed we had to leave earlier, but we need more dialogue like that. But it's just not enough to have the dialogue. It's what you do after the dialogue that's important.
Correct.
And I think that there was Sandra brought up a very valid point. Like, you know what I'm saying? What happened? Why don't the police officers have like a day? You know what I'm saying? Like they have a community event team or a day where there's maybe one officer that go out to a basketball court in the middle of the, you know what I'm saying, and play with the kids so they can see themselves in the officer. And I think that's what's missing. Like,
I think the rookie cops should be doing it.
Whoever.
That should be their first year. I think their first assignment for the first year as a rookie cop is they go see X amount of parks within a week as kind of
to interact with the community
and introduce themselves to the neighborhood.
Yeah, and then to their benefit, we also have to understand that. I mean, I think APD mentioned that they are 400 officers short. So that plays a part in it too. That does hinder you. Like, and when it goes back to what you're saying about those stupid phone calls, my child won't go to bed kind of deal, right? How can we expect them to be involved in the community when they can't even, you know what I'm saying? They're short 400 officers. It sounds like a little bit. That's a lot of police officers for definitely a county as big as Atlanta or a city as big as Atlanta. And like he mentioned today, one of the things that the numbers they throw out there is, crime is high with the rate where we have 500,000 citizens. He said, listen, in our reality, through Atlanta, we police 2 million people a day because people are coming in visiting through the city. And that's the part we don't include those in numbers. So we have to also start looking at that too. That a lot of people who they have locked up are not even from Atlanta. They're not even Atlanta residents, right? They come from everywhere. But it was very interesting, great dialogue. And I just believe that even though we don't hypothetically always agree with people philosophically, that we have to at least be willing to hold dialogue. And I thought that was really important that we were able to do that today. So that was really cool. I thought that was really cool. And then we left there early. Yeah, we left there early, and then we got a chance to meet with Mr. Bailey. And Mr. Bailey is he is an attorney who's actually running for the Attorney General of the state of Georgia, and he actually almost won in the last election in 2018. Yep. But again, I thought his dialogue was very open and transparent, and the conversation we had with him. Whether or not we agreed on everything or not, at least he was willing to answer the hard questions.
I agreed on 99.9.
Yeah, I can't.
I know. I know. But I agreed almost what he said. Because, man, you don't agree on everything.
Right.
So what you don't agree with is the same thing that I agree with.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is that he had the dialogue, right?
Correct.
There was not a question that we didn't ask that he didn't answer, right? He was not afraid. He didn't give us a script walking into that. But my thing is that it's what do we do with politicians, like, when we have those meetings like that? How do we hold them accountable to the words they give us in that meeting?
Because you can't record it.
Right.
You can't play it back.
Yeah. We choose not to.
But you can. But again, it goes back to what I said on another show. A man got to be accountable for his word.
Right.
Like, when we agree on something, it shouldn't take me to say, Sean signed this, you signed that. We from the old school.
Right.
Your word got to mean everything.
We both from the same state.
Same state. They're almost
the same city.
Yeah.
We both talking about the same city at the same time. Yeah.
So you're on the other side. You would light over. But what I'm saying is that it's a shame we got to come to that in our life we live now, that a man's word don't mean nothing. That's where we live at.
Yeah.
So I actually thought it was genuine. I don't think it was no false.
No, I really did leave there thinking that he was very genuine. Yeah. That's why we're going to do some things with him going forward. Not saying as an endorsement of who he is, but I mean, just from where he comes from, his experience. He was a prosecutor before. He was a civil attorney before. He was a defense attorney before. So, I mean, his experience, I think, is kind of well-rounded. And I think that that's really, that's interesting, right? It's interesting to me that because I like people who like definitely going into that position to be able to understand it from both sides, I think it makes a huge difference.
And I'm gonna tell you something that I recognize. I peep everything.
Right.
I peep body language. He had three brothers at the table with him.
Mm-hmm.
Three brothers. And I didn't pick up on no bad vibe, no bad
Like
body
he was
language.
uncomfortable.
Like he was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that would impress me the most. That he just had that vibe, was natural, no stuttering, natural conversation. It wasn't no jerking. It was straight talk. I asked a question, boom, straight answer.
Mm-hmm. And very direct.
And so I could peep game. When I'm saying by game, I could peep realness. And I seen a genuine guy today, man, for real.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. And so when people, the reason why I think we came on live today is because when people ask us, like, what is it that we do? That's what we do, right? We meet with people the average person can't just walk into the office and talk to the police chief of Atlanta. They're not going to be able to talk to Mr. Bailey, right? We meet and we try to take the concerns of what we hear, whether we agree with it or not. We try to take those concerns to people who can do something about it. And it was a good day, and we're still not done. Right now, we're actually in a meeting with Cobb County talking about a civic center, right? So we're still not done.
We got a civic center.
I know, but it's something about civil society or something like that, but we're still not done. Okay. The point is that we consistently are out there through different counties. Last night we was in Gwinnett County working some things in Gwinnett County. We're getting ready to put on on one accord event where we'll have pastors from different churches all meeting in one location to talk about social injustice, faith.
I almost said something about pastors, but I ain't gonna do it.
No, not today.
No, I'm saying it was good and bad. You talk because we night and day,
right?
But we're gonna keep respectful. I think a lot of pastors need to be held accountable too, because
absolutely
they don't need to just come in there with no blazers on, no jeans on, and talk a good game, and then leave that particular area. And now you're not doing what you said you was gonna do.
Yeah.
So the same way you can present your ideas to the congressman or the police chief, bring it to your own people that come to your church every Sunday. Get them involved.
But I think that the chief of Atlanta, he hit on that because basically he called us out today.
He did.
He called us out. He literally said, like, I'm not here. I'm not here for you guys to tell me what I need to do.
I don't know what
I'm here. What you gonna do? And again, but then too, he pointed to a lot of events, and this is the part that really disappoints me. He pointed to a lot of events where the church has not stood up, right? Where the church has not made a difference, where the church has not been vocal in these aspects. He pointed to a lot of events like, where were y'all kind of deal. And that's what this whole conference is we're getting ready to do on the one accord, is to talk about, like, it's not just enough to talk about it. It's not just to have enough just to have a voice in the room. It's how do we change the hearts of those police officers that actually sit in our pews and work with us? How do we go to a white community, a white church, and be able to hear them and allow them to hear us, right? And vice versa. How does a white church come to a black church and be able to hear us and we be able to hear them? It's how do we make an adjustment to where we're really making a difference in society, man. You know what I'm saying? It's different to be able to just stand around and talk a good game, but what is it that you've done? I like quoting Bible verses, as you know, and one of my favorite Bible verses is in the book of James. And James says, he said, you show me your faith without works, I'll show you my faith by my works, which means that what I believe in is what you see me do. And we don't have a lot of pastors out there doing that. We don't have a lot of police officers out there doing that. We don't have a lot of DAs out there. We don't have a lot of people in general who, like, a person will sell their soul for power, if that makes sense, right? Like, they'll make all these promises. Like we talked about yesterday.
Somebody offhand already.
Like, what?
I would love to say his name, but you said I can't do it.
No, but what we was talking about the other day is about how people who are politicians, how they make all these promises to get in office.
Correct.
And then the moment they get in office, it seems like they forgot every promise that they made, right? Again, that if those are not your values, stand up for your values. And if people don't like your values, then maybe maybe it's a shocker for you. Like, if I'm running in Cobb County, let's just say I'm running in Mapleton for a commissioner seat in Mapleton, right? And my views are something that Mapleton doesn't like. Maybe I need to change my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Because that would you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to just be true. And all that I get is what? No, I'm sorry. I think it was Shakespeare that said, "Be true to thyself." Right? Yeah. Period. Be true to thyself. If you believe in something, stand up for it. And if you don't stand up for it, then if you don't want to stand up for it, you don't really believe in it, then sit down and move on. Let the next man or woman take over.
Yeah, I mean, people got to recognize where they belong at. Like we talked about today. Everybody's circle ain't your circle.
Right.
Just because you in a circle don't mean those are circle affairs you need. So basically, if you're running for a certain county, and that's not, you don't have to, like you said, if you know good and well 80% of that community don't believe what you're talking, or not gonna back you up for the truth in you. So again, like you said, a lot of them are gonna say what they gotta say to get those votes.
Right.
But then when they get in the door, they really working for the other man against you. They just use your votes to get in. So that's where the game being played. So I think, like with police officers, every now and then cops pull up to a football game, little league game, get out the car and watch the game. That's it. Cause the only time they come to the game when somebody call about some parents fighting.
No, but you know what? It was very interesting. We attended a softball event this weekend, hosted by Count Me In Group, and we played. Black Push ended up playing Destiny World Church, but right after our game, it was the Cobb County Sheriff's Department, and they played against Visions for Souls Ministries out of Cobb, right? And I think it's out of Austell. But the interesting part was the police were at least willing to be out there and be involved in the community, and they were active, man. We're gonna post some of the photos of it later today, but they were active. They were into it. Everybody had a good time. You know what I'm saying? We got to find things that bring us together versus things that tear us apart. And right now, it seems like we're aiming or we're looking for things that don't bring us together over things that tear us apart. And that's just not only in the aspect of for me, it's not only a spiritual thing. It's a physical thing too. As people, we have to start finding things that we agree on and that bring us together versus things that tear us apart. Because like me and you've been talking about personally for the last couple of days is that a jacked up spirit, man, it don't stay in that one place. You feel me? Like if it's jacked up and it's around you and you allow it to be around you, sooner or later you'll start wondering why you so mean or why you angry. And you woke up having a great day, but it's just because somebody else is angry and they went off on you. Now you angry. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop investing energy into people who don't deserve we got to stop investing positive energy into people who don't deserve our energy. And that's, so, I mean, we had a great day. We meant to, like I said, we went to the meeting with the Atlanta Police Department. We went and met with Mr. Charles Billy. And then we have now, Stephen is sitting in the meeting representing us right now, talking about doing some things different in Cobb County. So we were just on, I thought it was a great day, to be honest with you. From a work perspective, it was a great day. And now we get to tone it down a little bit and enjoy a few days off.
Yeah, what you do.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, we just wanted to kind of hop on today and tell people about our day, tell people what's been going on.
And I enjoyed my day, man. I really did, because I got a chance to be in a different environment. And
yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, how was it for you? Because this is like the first time you actually seen per se the process of what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like the meetings and stuff of what we do.
For me, it was I was actually, it's cool because I actually for once somewhere didn't say nothing.
Right.
The first meeting. Mm-hmm. And that was surprising. I actually, had a chance to sit down and relax and listen to what other people are saying. And we all saying the same thing, but just the grammar different.
Right.
So don't get it twisted. With me, I got plenty of the same beliefs. I just come out differently as my grammar go. But it was a good experience. Seldom pastors that showing they care again. Looked good, sounded good.
But what are they gonna do? Let's see the fruits of it.
That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because they came to the meeting.
Right.
So that's the first.
And not only was it pastors, there was the president of NAACP was there.
Correct. Yeah, I see him.
We had people there from the labor union who were there.
Correct.
So it was, and Sandra made a very valid point before we all walked out. I mean, she brought up the whole fact again of talking about instead of police officers going and pulling people over and always, arresting them, how about going out there and playing football with them?
I'm gonna tell you, where we from, I remember as a kid, they used to ride around and give us football cards by the police car. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get, like I said, I think I hate to say this word, we got to overpower their own parents.
Right.
Because unfortunately, these parents ain't teaching them nothing. So we got to get to the point where they know right from wrong through somebody else. Like, forget what your mama saying or your daddy.
If your mama's not raising you right.
If she's not raising you right.
Right.
This is where you're gonna end up at.
Yeah, but as a child, like, how do you know?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I told you before we got an L. 10, 11, 12, 13, those right there are the key moments.
Right. 17,
18, I ain't saying you can't save them, but it's harder. The older they get, the harder they get to save them.
Right.
But that 10 to 13 age.
Well, I know. I got kids at the house right now.
That's the kicker.
That is
the kicker.
Yeah. And I want to encourage everybody out there too. If you have kids, man, we got to get back to the mentality it takes a village to raise a child. Stop being so sensitive about what people say about your kids, and understand, like, if somebody, even if somebody wastes their time to even talk to you about your kids, sometimes, like, I have godsons who are with me now, and one day one particular godson was doing something absolutely insane in the store, and somebody else seen him and said something to him, right? Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with it, because if you wrong, right? Yeah. And after they got done, because my grandma used to always tell a story about how if they got in trouble in school, they got a beating by the teacher, they got a popping by by the principal, right? And then when they got home, that teacher probably stayed on the same street they stayed on, and be like, "Girl, yeah, I had to go straighten Barbara up today," and you got another beating when you got home, right? But you had respect for where you were at. And nowadays, kids don't have respect for that. Like, it's one of the hardest things for me is that as we stand out here in these meetings, this meeting we had with APD today, the meeting we had with Mr. Bailey, the meeting we're having right now, and we sit up here and try to argue for why they need to make an outreach to the kids. Some of this stuff, these kids, like, at the same time we're doing that, there's a child right now robbing or stealing from somebody inside of a store right now, literally, as we're speaking about trying to protest for them. There's somebody that's doing something. So we have to stop blaming everybody else for the flaws of our children, right? And we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, I hate when if your child is off the chain, right? Ain't nobody gotta tell you. You can use whatever words you want to use. My child is active. They're young. They're learning. If your child 13 years old and they still sitting up there throwing rocks at people's car when they drive by, there's something wrong with that, right?
Stop. Again, stop.
And they know it's something wrong with that.
Again, when we were growing up, they had permission to jack us up.
Right.
They didn't have to call our parents, because our parents' motto was, why would they do that just because?
Right.
So you must have been doing something wrong. These parents these days is like, don't touch my child, don't talk to them like this, don't do this, don't do that, because they want to be, their child can't do no wrong.
Yeah.
None. But yeah, so we got to start taking accountability of what your own child do.
Yeah.
Period. Your child is bad. If he bad, he bad. You know what I'm saying?
Let it be known.
Let it be known. If you know your child ain't gonna go to sit still, don't be surprised you get a phone call. Little Tommy wants to sit still in class today.
Because you never know too who's willing to help. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, there's good people out here, and one of the things that we're like, even you have a good heart, even though he's crazy. He does have a good heart. You were just talking to me about the nonprofit you want to start to help kids play for their football, right? Yeah. There's people out there who want to do stuff better for our community. There's people out there who want to make sure that our kids are safe. There's people out there who want to raise up our kids in the right way. There's people out there who want to make sure. Let me tell you something. I remember one time in particular, I was working at this one summer camp, and this particular year, I had my own 2 summer camps running, and these 2 other churches had brought me in to teach their kids how to play the violin. So I was literally teaching 2 summer camps, plus going to play the violin at one church and then going to play the violin at another church. And this one particular church had a problem paying people, right? And the day that, like, they kept pushing our payroll off, right? The day that we're supposed to get paid, they end up saying, like, "No, we can't do it today. It'll be tomorrow," whatever, right? And I literally seen every teacher except for, it was like 11 or 12 teachers that was there. Every teacher except for 3 of us stayed. Because I understood that even though, hey, I hadn't gotten paid at that point, my mission for being there was bigger than just the paycheck, right? My mission for being there was to know that I was, and it was crazy because there was this one little girl who had, Down syndrome, and she would not do good in anybody else's class. She showed out in everybody's class, but the moment she walked on my violin class, she was active. She learned how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I still remember the day that, like, at the show we did that night, she played it, how her parents were just so proud, right? We have to go back to that mentality that it's bigger than us. We have to catch our babies at a young age. We have to find things, like we talked about earlier today, that they're interested in. We have to open up their eyes to other things, right? That it's not just being the next rapper or being the next famous basketball player. We need more APD police officers. At the end of the day, we talked about it. If somebody breaks into your house or somebody kill your family, you want the police to catch that person, right? You're not fun to say, okay, well, it's cool, just let them off the streets. Nah, you want that person to be caught if somebody did something to you. So we have to be realistic enough to know that we have to raise children to want to be the next judge, to want to be the next DA, to want to be the next governor of our state, to want to be the next city commissioner. Heck, you know what I'm saying? I look at the world now, and 50 years from now, what scares me the most is I don't know if I can see a world where we have a president where he has a Secret Service team anymore. Because nobody really these kids don't want to really do that today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. What you think? 50 years from now, how do you think it's going to be? What do you think that what do you think we're gonna pass on to the next generation? How do you think they're gonna be 50 years from now? It's it's hard to think. You almost want to think about it.
I think they're gonna be in the house.
Playing video games?
Yeah.
Virtual?
I think it'll be virtual. Everything will be virtual. I think even us going shopping gonna be virtual.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree. We're almost there.
I think the only people in the streets gonna be the people delivering groceries.
The Instacart.
Instacart. That's gonna be the biggest thing out. But I remember growing up, auntie saying, "Man, they were scared to be on the rocking chair on the front porch
Right.
in Miami because the way they thought we were going." So now it's to the point where I think it's gonna be worse. I think.
Yeah, and that's I mean,
I don't know.
and that's why it goes back to we have to start training our kids up now. You know what I'm saying? We have to start training them up now, because if we don't train them and we leave them to the world or to the streets to be trained, man, we gonna be, and we can't be mad. We can't be upset, nor can we be mad when our children do things that we have allowed them to be taught to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, my phone is blowing up. I'm sorry, dude. I got everybody mama calling.
Nah, I get it. I just gotta
So we're gonna go ahead and end it, bro. But hey, appreciate the opportunity, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah, I really did too. So going forward, we will be back here next Monday, and for everybody, next Tuesday. Monday we off, but and we want to just thank everybody who's been participating, been watching our show. Have a happy 4th of July, and we're gonna keep on fighting, because here at Black Push, our mission is to make America, make our country, make our state, make our cities a better place for the generation that comes behind us. So until next week, have a happy 4th of July and be blessed, everybody.